Greetings, everyone. Welcome. On this Tuesday, I am going to be drafting a traditional Zendikar Rising best of 3. Chat won out on this one, although I did tip the scales a little bit, saying it was my preference today. I've been enjoying best of 3 a bit. I was thinking this morning, my thought on Zendikar for the day is, as I was listening to the M21 Sunset show, and listening to Luis and Marshall, I think correctly say that it was an extremely well-executed core set, a limited environment, and that, they would give it a solid B as a set. And then as a core set, though, it was like an A. It was like an A core set. But it got me thinking about, like, what made it. I mean, I know that they liked it as a core set in terms of how it lowered the ramp for new players in terms of flavor and mechanics and everything. But what it got me thinking about is mechanically speaking, what made M21 a core set versus Zendikar Rising, for example? And I call out Zendikar Rising because I think its core mechanics are not complicated, except, I guess, the flip lands, right? They would never put the flip cards in a core set. But outside of the double-faced modal cards, I really think that Zendikar looks a lot like a core set. I mean, Black-White is a life gain matters deck, and Kicker is there, which is a super straightforward mechanic. Oh, hey, there's a party mechanic that just looks at creature types. Super simple mechanic. And even the modal DFCs, once you understand the complexity, there's a moment of like, whoa, this is what's going on here with it. As soon as you understand it, it's just pick one side or the other. Even that's really simple. So I just kind of push back on the notion of even grading core set limited differently, because I just think the necessary parts of a good limited experience aren't dictated by the complexity of the mechanics involved. So sure, Hodge says party can be more complicated in paper where a computer isn't always keeping track of the types. But come on, Hodge, what I'm talking about, Hodge, is like, if I explain to you the mechanic party, and especially, like, let's say you have some familiarity with D&D, like, you'll get it. You snap into place on what's going on. I mean, yes, tracking it might be, you gotta look or whatever, but the mechanic itself isn't complicated. Whereas, say, like Morph, we're gonna play with Morph. Okay, hold on, new player. Let me explain Morph to you, right? That's what I mean. When I'm talking about mechanical complexity, I'm talking about the ability for a player to grok what's going on with it, right? And my point is that everything in Zendikar mechanically is incredibly grokkable. Even the most complicated thing there, modal double-faced cards, are ultimately grokkable. They're even more grokkable than regular double-faced cards. They're, because it's just like, yeah, pick one side or the other. It's even easier than the DFCs we've seen before. So my point is that I really believe that quality of limited is truly driven by the synergies you've planted at common and uncommon. Full stop. Like, that's what defines your limited formats, and the depth your format has is also defined by that, because ultimately uncommons and commons are the cards you're going to see again and again and again. So if your format has legs, it's because those cards have been well designed, well put together, and are set to make each other sing. And I don't think that cares whether it's a core set or an advanced set when it comes to the quality of the experience. So I don't think complexity in cards means better format. I think you can have simple mechanics and a deep format. And I think M21 did that, and I think Zendikar is doing that as well. So I'm really enjoying that. And if you want to pick up any of these cards for your tabletop game, maybe M21 Sunset Show has got you thinking about the cards you loved from that set and how they might combine with the sweet cards from this set to create your new standard monster that you're going to destroy Omnath with, right? You know where to get your cards for that. It's cardkingdom.com, my sponsor. They are purveyors of such stuff, singles, supplies, sealed product, anything you need for your tabletop Magic experience. Card Kingdom has you covered. And if you get there through the link that Hat just linked, or in the show notes on YouTube, or in the panels down below, they know you got there from here, and that helps keep me on the air. So thank you, Card Kingdom, for all your support, and please check them out via my links anytime you need stuff for your tabletop game, and it really helps keep me going here. Thanks, everybody. Let's pay our fee, jump into draft mode, claim our land, and see how long it takes here. Yeah, you could have a bat meme. You could make a draft constructed format where you got 1 mythic, 2 rares, and some number of uncommons and commons, and put some restrictions on, and then through the restrictions you kind of force people to make just premium limited decks. I once asked Eric Lauer if there was any value in kind of doing that for draft. Like, could I take a Magic set and basically, based on what I'm seeing from the uncommons and commons, rough out some realistic looking limited decks? Like, instead of drafting, what about just like doing what you're doing, Tim, or who I forget who that was, but yeah, bat meme, that basically do that in testing, right? Build 40 card decks that you're trying to have represent some level of, like, this would be an incredible version of this archetype, right? That was my idea. Like, build what you would think would be great versions of those archetypes, then bash them into each other and see which ones seem too strong or whatever. And Eric said that would that be counterproductive. That you need to do the pick stuff at the same time. I haven't got to it yet, D. I listened to M21 Sunset yesterday instead of music, so I'm behind, but we'll get there. All right, we're pack 1, pick 1. Hey, YouTube friends who skipped my pitch to Card Kingdom, can you at least give me a like? I was thinking about that. Like, I want to reach more of an audience, and if you don't have the money to sub or spend at Card Kingdom or whatever, one thing you can do is, as sad as it is to troll for likes, hit that like button, and then it helps show up in the algorithm, and I reach more people. So consider that. We got an intended healer we could start with. We've tried this rare before, and she's fine, but largely kind of just a gold 3/3. We could do that. I like Vastwood Surge. There's no good removal here other than, well, binding is pretty good. We could try this again, but I think I'd rather just start with a healer, and then we have at least a chance to end up Black-White Clerics, and this is a pretty powerful spell for that. I'm going to try that. Partly because I also have already tried that rare. I think if I'd never done that rare before, I might give that a shot. We could go down the path of ruin, but there's also a Thundering Rebuke. Ruinous Path. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's that ruinous. Light Priest is the kind of thing I want to wheel when I'm in Clerics, that makes me feel like I'm happy about it. And you see I have Rebuke held, and I basically agree with math. Like, Crab is cute and powerful if you get it on the opener, but Rebuke is great, and 4 toughness also tends to be an important number in this. So, Crab fans, I get it. I'm going to take the straight, clean removal spell, and we'll go see where we go from there. Here we have a Shelter. I love this flip land. This is they're between the Nahiri's Binding and the bubble, the blue bubble. There are 2 key pieces of enchantment-based removal at common in the format, and I love being able to unlock my creatures from removal with a Shelter that I draw later. And also it can counter It is effectively a 2-mana counterspell for removal when you need that. Yeah, a lot of cleric stuff going around, so maybe we pick it up on the wheel, but right now I'm going to stick with the generically good shelter. Florahedron, if we just want to stick with these excellent land spells, we could do that and dip into green. But we also have, yeah, I see Deadly Alliance here, and I'm attracted to that as well. I think it's pretty clearly one of these two. Pack Beast is appealing as well, depending on where we head party-wise, but this is a reason to head somewhere party-wise, and these splans are just excellent. But given that Shelter and Healer, especially Healer, really points towards a cleric direction, I don't mind taking the Alliance here, because we also passed a bunch of playable but not insane clerics early that we would love to see if we wheel some of. If we wheel some of those early clerics, then we know we're on the right track. Here, though, maybe we have to mix it up a bit. We've got a Rabid Bite. We've got past a bunch of Vastwood Surges here. We could, I think we take the Bite. I don't think any of the white or black cards are worth it. This one's green anyway, and if we're going to take a green card, I'm going to take Bite. Smite is certainly a lot better here in best of 3. If we weren't in best of 3, I wouldn't really consider this at all, but it's certainly a consideration in best of 3, but I'm going to take the Bite. I don't think you're alone, Craig. I've heard somebody else having issues, but it doesn't seem to be widespread. I haven't felt like... All right, we got a choice here now. We're all over the place. We've got 2 white cards and then 1 each of all these other colors. And here we've got Blood Beckoning, Fissure Wizard, and Survivor that jump out at me. Glacial Grasp, also good, but I don't think we're there yet. I think if we end up clerics, we'll want the Blood Beckoning. And Attended Healer is strong, so is Shelter. Yeah, I think we take the Beckoning, that's fine. But we're closing in, we're pick 7 here. Pretty soon we're going to find out how open our direction is, and maybe it's not as open as we want here. I'm not loving the cards I'm seeing here. We can take an Electromancer. We have a Thundering Rebuke. We could still back into red. Red-black. Red-black Party is a thing that's been working for me. Mind Drain is also fine. That's fair. I could just take the Mind Drain, but I'm trying to... I think Electromancer is a little better. I'm going to hedge, because I do like Mind Drain, but I still think it does and should go a little bit late, and so we should try to pick it up late. And we have a Fissure Wizard if we wanted to continue heading towards that possible red-black, which I think we do. Like, the Charger is also good. So we got a Goblin Warrior here, a Wizard here. But I've been really liking the Wizard. It feels like any 2-powered 2-drop is fine. It does stuff. And the Rummaging is real. It really helps shift your opening hand in whatever direction you need it shifting. And this is what I mean. Here's where I want to be grabbing Mind Drains. And we could all, Cleansing Wildfire helps actually splash in red, which is kind of weird. But we're going to go Mind Drain over the really generic Skitter Sneak. I mean, when this is a 4/4 Menace, it's fine, but I think you need to be a little more dedicated towards that to be happy about playing that. So we'll take the Drain. Seagate Colossus is not bad for the red-black party deck. There are worlds in which you drop an Electromancer, gain mana off of it, and use it to cast a Seagate Colossus, And Blood Price, while I might play one, is pretty replaceable. So we could still end up Clerics, though, right? So we can take a Protector here over a really generic Lagak. So I'm going to take the Protector, and we'll continue to try and read this table. This is interesting, too. Farsight Adept is pretty glue-like for the whole party mechanic, being a white wizard. And I think I like that over this blade. Vastwood Surge still being here is a little surprising. This is a powerful card, but I guess, you know, it's true that landfall hasn't been great, but we'll take that. And this is a possible playable. Then we get Legion Angel, which is not insano. Unless we get, if we get a second one, fine. First one tends to be just a 4/3 warrior for 4 that flies, but that in and of itself is a good enough package. Thwart the Grave appeals. Malika Rebirth also. Fenor thinks these are straight up better. I hear you. This is a 2-for-1 that is often cheap, but powerful flyers like this are still more valuable to me. Are we there, though? Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm taking the rare flyer. We don't know we're in white. We don't know we're in black. Well, maybe we're in both. There's no red card pulling me away, so I think we follow this cleric. I think if we take cleric, we do have to be ready to, like, I don't know how open this is going to be in pack 3 if we go this direction, but maybe we pick up enough here to get it done. And I don't know what else we'd be taking out of this pack anyway. Like, if we didn't take this, what are you taking? A Hellion? You know, let's take the cleric. And maybe we get the hookup here. Well, could help with a splash. But are we going to splash a rebuke? I don't think so. I think we're done with green. Yeah, Blade Master's a hookup for the deck that's doing that, but we don't even have any equipment yet that we want to play. If we take the splash land, what are we giving up to do it? I mean, that's the thing, not much, right? We'll take kind of any of this stuff on the wheel. Yeah, this is an ugly pack. I don't know if this is the right pick, but we're not giving up much to hedge. I guess I actually take the Blade Master. Like, I really don't think no matter where we're headed here, I don't think we want to splash unless we do the whole thing where we get, you know, 4 red splans or something. 2/1 flyer was also interesting as a rogue that could be adding to the party capability of a black-white deck. But I want to keep following the cleric, you know, the Legion Angel into Cleric of Lifespawn. Let's see if we can get clerics to work here. So, because this is not great. This is okay, but not, you know, like the red was kind of medium anyway. And here we can take a Disciple over the rare Human Wizard. Math says red is wide open. Is it? Maybe this is a sign, but I don't see it as wide. They haven't been great picks so far, so it's been hard. Like, I mean, it's not like we've like, what's the best red card we've passed so far? Channeler is a signal, but so was getting this Cleric of Lifespawn. I'm going to stick on the Cleric path here. Tough call here, though. Got a 2-drop that I would love to add just because it's a 2-drop. But pretty easy to take. Yeah, Zoff Consumption here is good. This is nice reach to suddenly top deck and be like, oh, we can get him. Fury, another Spland on that axis. We could take the Mind Drain, though. If we get enough red spell lands, you can kind of play them on their own. But again, I think the Cleric deck really wants to be tightly black-white. Yeah. So I think on a playable front, I need to focus on playables. And I agree with Math that as unexciting as the Outrider is, I want just creature baseline before another Mind Drain here. We'll get the Mind Drains late. Now we're getting a Bug Catcher Vanguard. So yeah, you know, the red is here too. It feels like depending on which signal we followed here, we could have ended up in a couple different places. But it's hard to know based on pack 2, pick 3 exactly what we were seeing. We're best of 3. Maybe we disenchant here over Mesa Lynx. But we're also low on 2s, so I'm going to take a 2. I can take a Hellion if we think there's any chance of heading back to red. Yeah, we've been trying to draft the hard way, but somewhat backed ourselves into, you know, A or B choices that are now. I hate that Constrictor though. In this deck, now I gotta decide Wizard because we might be back into red or Lynx. I'm gonna take Wizard over another Lynx. I sure hope we don't play that many Lynxes anyway. Here's a disenchant we can take. Ambusher. All right, well, if it's going to be this hard, we'll think it all through again. Hey, look at that. I think Tabarak says, no, stick with the Cleric plan, buddy. I think Tabarax just did that because I was putting red cards back in. Zareth-san, the Trickster, is some good. I don't know if we can take it, though. I think we need to take Scion of the Swarm or just removal. So good, though, right? Some people are having issues today, it seems. You're not alone. Obviously, I'm at least still on air or whatever, but I don't think you're alone, Magic Star. Seems like something's chunky today. Deadly Alliance is a great pickup here. Royal Eruption shows that, you know, red, again, continues to be this path not taken that could have been fine, clearly. But I'm also happy with some of the stuff we're picking up here in red and white black. So, but this is what I'm a little worried about here. Like, look, we got a Royal Eruption and like our colors have dried up. I practically want to take the Royal Eruption. We'd have double Royal Eruption. But yeah, I think we just have to say farewell. And Blood Price or Sky Dancer. Sky Dancer does something in that it's a rogue that would help mix up our creature types, but Blood Price is fine. Subtle Strike. Okay. Take it. I wouldn't mind a Smite. We're best of 3, but Subtle Strike is main deckable and good. Well, this Shadow Stinger, not great, but I think I like it over the Skitter Sneak. Probably cut that if we have any kind of ability to cut things. We're only at 24 of 40 and we have Splans, so we're tight on playables here, gang. This looks playable, and now I hate myself. I hate myself. We had our reasons, but yeah. And you know, I don't, you know, we still have stuff going on here. That was a principle thing. Here, we'll take this and splash. Well, this is a nice gift. It's not a relevant creature type, but it's a relevant, powerful card. Oh, sorry. I thought that those things confuse me. I read that as the amulet. Sorry, everybody. If you had that in my head as an amulet, you understand why I passed it. Yeah, I don't think red is an underdrafted color per se. Well, that's a bummer. Sorry, I missed a nice card for our deck. We'll see what we can do without it, but too bad. I just thought it was the wizard artifact. Are you kidding all? Like, Dionysus was the first one to punt me in terms of distance from punt. He's just got huge lag. He beat you all, but then he got slowed down by lag. Actually, yeah, I don't know. It's of course on me to read cards, but I really dislike that there's two uncommon, similar-looking artifacts that both start with relic. Yeah, but I mean, you follow what cards come your way. What are you going to do? Mensch says there are a lot of those types of cycles in sets. I push back Mensch and say those cycles are usually one in each of the colors and have very unique colors, right? I don't think artifacts being like, I mean, it's a very weird cycle. It's a very weird cycle because you've got, first, there's only 4 of them because it's about the party types, not about colors. 2 of them are colorless artifacts. Well, 3 of them are colorless artifacts, and 1 of them's a colored artifact. Yeah. Anyway, it's a very different type of cycle, I would say, Mensch. All right. It is what it is. Let's check our splan count. We've got 2. Did I miss any? 17, that's 19. I think we just go like that and make 2 cuts. Let's look at our overall 1610. Let's see, we did have a basic land, War of the Spark basics, okay. Oops. No. Wait, I just tried to get rid of you. Oh, it's because I've got it up here or whatever. There we go. Auto-suggested after I removed. And so if I go set war, I should be able to find war basics, right? There we go. Mind Drain's fine. It's at least as fine as a placeholder. Like, we can pull it if we face aggro or something, but if you're not facing aggro, I like to Mind Drain. Looking at creature types, 5 warriors, 1 wizard, 1 rogue, and 7 clerics. So we're a little bit all over the map. I don't even know how good that relic mistake would have been. We're pretty medium on clerics in the end. Mesa Lynx is a sad kitty, but I don't know if we can cut a 2 here. Yeah, I think this deck broke bad. Obviously, if we'd found our way to red, this would have been better. Hodge says I got trapped by this cleric, but I don't know. You're supposed to get trapped by the good cards that get passed to you. I don't know if I was supposed to have the discipline to take... I mean, certainly you don't... I mean, Hodge, were you not taking the cleric? Let me ask you that. I can't remember what else was in the pack, but surely you were banking to the cleric at that point, too. Then the question is, at what point could we pivot again? Maybe it was the first of 3 royals that came back? I don't know. I'm not saying this was even some signal. I'm just saying this was the power card. This is the type of power card we needed to make a decision. Yeah, I'm with you on Vampire. That's really not doing much here. And then let's just cut 1 Mind Drain and call this a deck. This deck makes me want to go to confession. Yeah, let's see. We could cut Stinger as pretty underwhelming. Unfortunately, we have a lot of things that qualify for that. I mean, this is your choice. This is our sideboarding material. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Stinger, let's cut Stinger and at least put in a reasonable body or the Mind Drain. Yes. Seeing red, can't unsee red. Sure. I'm going to go Seeing Red instead, because I'm pretty annoyed. I did. Look at that. War of the Spark. Boom, boom. All right. Well, I don't love this deck, but it's got some good cards in it. We can win some Magic games. Let's outplay them, shall we? Ugh. Hard to outplay him with this, although if we find a swamp, we get Tabarax on 3 and probably Legion Angel on 4. On the draw, I might keep this, but on the play, I think we throw this back. Okay, wonderful start. Unfortunately, I have to keep this. I'm not going to 5. We're going to pitch a swamp and hope we draw some action and hope that Mind Drain gets some good and we claw back with that type of card advantage. We need some luck here, though. When you have a opener that you got to keep that's this weak, really, like if we find a 2-drop on time, if we happen to top deck a 2-drop, or if we find a 3-drop that's real pressure as opposed to a Mind Drain, I don't think we don't want Mind Drain on 3 if we can help it. But we need some help from the top. Well, I should have been more specific. Technically, that is a 2-drop. Although, do you even call this a 2-drop? I wouldn't never even call this a 2-drop. To me, this is, as a combat trick, it's not even what we mean by that. However, it's a 2-drop in this case. Because we're going to play it on 2. And we missed on finding anything other than Mind Drain. I'm not going to not. Now let's find our Angel off the top, and Oppo has no removal. That's the plan. Or land. Sure, we can do land off the top. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I tried to play the flood meme and realized that I'm not even on the battlefield. Let's try that again. Oh, here comes the flood. Pretty rough after a mulligan. I told you we needed some luck, and we proceed to flood out. So, game 1 not going our way. But we'll get some info on Oppo's deck. Don't know if I love the Boros Splash Black angle, but let's see. Maybe they got something worth it. At this point in the game, not willing to use a Deadly Alliance on a 2-power creature with them with 3 cards in hand. I'm expecting something better that will actually save our life total more by waiting on the Alliance. Happy they're not playing something here. Gives us a chance. We will say goodbye to flesh and blood. I think that meme works against me, Pat. I think the system senses the first part and is like, oh, we got to deliver another land so he can run the second part. Still waiting on the Alliance. Like, if they play a 5-power creature here, I'll be so glad I kept it. Although, if they do nothing, I think I have to Alliance the Vanguard or something. We do. I ran the land screw meme yesterday. Pay your channel points, and I'll run it right now. Yeah, they're not doing anything. Do we get the Vanguard done here? I'm still going to wait. Yeah, there we go. We can just use this one.
Where are we going? To Neverland. 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 Oh, but Neverland.
All right, I'm going to use one now because we have a second for the next thing they play. I can't believe we're in this. What is even going on? Like, I've played a Subtle Strike and a Mind Drain and finally go with a Deadly Alliance, and somehow we're not just straight up dead. But this is why this is exactly what I'm talking about, though, right? You saw my patience. Like, I did not want to use a Deadly Alliance on a 2-powered creature against a deck that clearly had some more that it could be bringing to bear. Thankfully, I can actually play both, though. We can do Marauding Blight Priest and target this thing. I gotta make sure, like, yeah, okay, it's nothing, nothing ridiculous there. But we'll do this. Do we want to show the second? We could still win this game, so yeah, we want to show the second. Not the worst for us. Again, one of the problems with binding is that it lets the creature stay on the battlefield and be all of those things. Blade Master in our deck is really just a double strike, you know, a 2/1 with 1 point of first strike. That's what this is. But it holds off the Lynx on their turn, so we'll take it. We're really in a bind now, but we have outs. Don't encourage me, Techno Bobble. That only deserves a groan. I can't believe we were in it to that. And I don't know what Oppo is doing with the black. Not like we have anything to sideboard here, but I was pretty disappointed. What did we draw that I was like, oof, this is in the deck? Like most of my deck. That's all right. And I love the Demon Disciple against... the Disciple is really good against all the enchantment removal as well. The red's just not good enough. We have 2 wizards, Royal Eruption. I guess we do have a couple of removal spells. We can talk about it. We can look at a red build. That's what's crazy. It's not that far off here. Transformational sideboard. That's a sign of a good draft deck, right? We're going to ride it out with clerics here, but let's maybe take a look at red after board. Boros makes me not want to bring in a Mind Drain. Makes me even want to think about bringing in the Stinger just to have more on the ground. Yeah, Disenchant is totally playable here. That's a good call. I like having the things like the Demon's Disciple, but we can just actually have removal here. So let's maybe do that for Mind Drain, which is not great against aggro, although they haven't shown great aggro, but I assume they have an aggro draw in there and just kind of missed it last game and got there anyway. Stinger still could be the correct play also for having those defensive options as indicated, but I'm going to go with this. It's about the quality of the playables though too, right? The best part about our red is the 2 burn spells, right? Everything else is really pretty weak. And then white has some actual good finishing plays, and so I think white's card quality is overall better. But it's not so far apart that we couldn't try. We're going to keep this and run out the Zoff as land. And hope we find some more things to do. I couldn't throw this back, but it's not exactly like it's a screaming hand. But it had enough going on for it that I couldn't throw it back. We got lucky with the 2-drop. We'll take that for sure. Yeah, I think that Angel's our only flyer. I was just going to say the Blade Master really wants the Subtle Strike to increase its power. So that's a nice pickup here. Scion black. We're talking about whether they're white flyers, though. Hopefully they play something... Ideally, they play something with 1 toughness here, right? And we get to kill it and counter up the Blade Master before we untap. That would be ideal. Even more ideal would be finding a basic land on top of our library. I got ideal number 1, though. Hard to complain about that. I got what I wanted. Ooh, they have response. Maybe they have +2/+2 here. We at least should get the counter, though. So even if they can save the Kite, we get Blade Master on 2. And they had to use a card to do that. It does hold back the Blade Master for right now, though. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, and getting the counter on the Blade Master made it so that I think I would have done that even if their hand was face up. I would have absolutely paid 2 mana to make them discard Resolute Strike and put a counter on the Blade Master. So, yeah, let's play this. It's something. So, if we can find a basic land off the top, Attended Healer with Cleric of Lifespawn on board is all combo-y in of itself, right? Never mind. We have a Beckoning to get that back, though. Should we go get it back? We could... Do we have another one in there? No. What about... Well, we could attack and trade off the Blade Master, but then it would come back without the counter. Yeah, I'm with you, Hat. I think we just look for some action and then maybe find something else to get that healer going. Scion for sure. And then do we need more land over a vampire? I'm going to say no. I think we just take our action and be happy that we found it. And I know we don't have the mana for the Scion yet, but I tend to play greedy here in these spots and assume that we're going to get some land eventually. And if we don't, we at least have the Highborn play. All right. Yeah, no land, but I'm going to go with Vampire, and then we have Outrider. Although if we go... Yeah, this is... We can go Healer, Cleric, Warrior. If we play nothing but Warriors, the Outrider doesn't do quite as much. We could open on Healer. I'm just going to go with Power, though. Let's just go Vamp. And then it also, like, this is kind of our 23rd card. Like, we brought this in or whatever. This is our last card, but it's still a good body here. So we get to play one of the worst cards in our deck at the point where it's best and potentially get Oppo to use premium removal on it. Just so. Now we can drop the Scion. Hope that they're out of... binding removal. Really hope they're out of removal. They showed us, I think, did we see multiple Royal Eruptions? Anyway, Oppo has a lot of good white-red removal here, so I just, at least if it's a Royal Eruption, put it in the graveyard and let me get it back, right? Interesting to play a Tazim Raptor with 2 Splans, or 3 Splans, and not bring one of them back. That feels like a mistake to me. I don't know what they're going for in hand, but I can't... I mean, that's the whole point of this card, is to turn Glacier back into a spell, you know? As for us, now we have Healer, or we can just go Colossus again. Go big. Maybe, I don't know if there's a single white or single red trick. I don't think so. I like just Colossus here, though. Yeah, I'm in for that. After, although, if they, is there anything for? There's not. Okay, good. So then I'm just going to attack first. If there was something that could cause our Scion to die here, I would have played the Colossus first. But if we're clear on this not being able to die to 1 red mana, we should just do it this way. Yeah, good point. Spikefield Hazard plus Raptor would do it. If they did that, though, then we'd have a good Blood Beckoning to do, so it wouldn't have been the worst anyway. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it is attacked this turn. Landfall. Okay, okay. We just leave this back to threaten the Morog. So I'm going to send the flyer and play our Angel. Yeah, we could even beckon. That's fair. At this point, beckoning back our Cleric has some good value. and potentially sets up next turn cleric into healer for good chumpers. I like that. Let's do that. Now Oppo's going to bring back the land, right? That's a pretty big game next turn. But we'll have, after we heal, and if we find a basic, we can go cleric healer. Not quite what we wanted to see. But we can go cleric blight priest. So that's our plan instead. So we attack with 8 in the air. We don't kill them, and then we have this brutal attack coming back the other way. Fenrir wants to attack with both. What blocks do we have if we do it that way? So we just need to have our blocking mapped out if we're going to do that. And we have Colossus on... Yeah, if they main phase this, we can just block. I guess we have the chumps to keep the Air Force going, right? Yeah, they do get to attack twice if they do this, but yeah, they can't attack with the Akum and attack twice, right? So that's the deal here. So we have to put them to the test and hope that they don't have removal. Yeah, we could leave one back to threaten the Raptor, though. And then we still threaten lethal on the crackback, right? I'm in for that. Let's leave the Angel back and attack with one Scion. Tough situation. Because this does say we have good blocks on anything you're trying to do with Morag. We have desperation blocks even on a Stampede. You like attack with the Angel because this can block, but if they do this, if they cast this, it's all gonna... I want to trade off the Angel over the 4/4. Yeah, so if Oppo is misplayed, how do we take advantage of that? I think we go for a kill on the... Wait, what if we kill the Lynx and trade off Hellion and Chump Morag? Or do we not even need to chump? We just let the... take 9? Do we have the swing back, though? What's our swing back? We have, yeah, let's just not block, and then we have the crackback win, right? You want to chump with Angel? Well, too late. If I've screwed it up, I've screwed it up. No hourglasses to save me, so I just had to go with what I had. I couldn't see how I was cracking back for a guaranteed 7 if I didn't leave Cleric around. Like, I guess that's what I didn't understand. And then had to do this anyway? I don't blame Oppo. That card is... I'm going to need your help if I ever draft it. All right, well, we made it to game 3 in this one. What can we do with it? Are we making any other changes? Again, we don't have much to work with here. We're looking at... unless we go transformational, we have a couple of Mind Drains and a Shadow Stinger. You like transforming for game 3? Nah, my head's not in that math. I'm gonna play this out as is, and then we can make some changes between matches here if we want. Play the land in main phase 2. That's the TLDR of that card. I think we keep this. We try to hold the shelter. We play the consumption as land. Hope to play something. We get Mesa Links into Farsight Adept. If they do something like enchant our Adept, we get to Disciple. So this looks good. I hate that I'm saying that about a hand with a Mesa Links in it, but here we are. Oops, that's not my plan. This is my plan. You can make an argument since we drew another land, we could even hold this, but it's pretty far off before Zoff Bloodbog is, or Zoff Consumption is something we cast. Scary stuff. So I play Blade Master instead of Lynx, or Lynx. I'll just go Lynx. But this is trouble. If somehow Oppo fails to play a creature here, we'll snap play the Disciple. Actually, Disciple not bad here, given that both of these creatures are good, so we will go Disciple. Man, I kind of want to wait, though. We know Oppo has multiple bindings, and binding is just such a blowout to play Disciple after binding, so maybe I go Adept. Trouble is they will... Yeah, I'm going to go Adept and hold back the Links, and then if they can answer one but not both, the other can still block the Grow Tag. So playing the Adept gives us 2 creatures that block Grow Tag, so I like that instead. Let's give them a chance to binding and really blow them out with the Disciple. Boy, I don't want to lose to 3-color Mardu, but we'll see what happens. Our deck isn't great. We can get Healer here, or Blade Master plus Shelter. Blade Master plus Shelter isn't the worst. gives us some action. The other option, of course, is healer, but nothing we have coming up actually produces life gain, so this would be playing basically a 2-3. So let's play Blade Master. Well, they don't really have attacks, except they have, of course, the Fledgling. I expect the Fledgling keeps coming at us. And Shelter here. Maybe they go for a Binding now, and we can actually Shelter mid-combat and surprise them. Fledgling, we need to find some of our hard removal for that, though. But that's good to see. No other attacks. Not even trying from Oppo. Okay, so is it worth it to save? I mean, we have a Blood Beckoning. It almost doesn't matter if this dies, but I'll save it. I'll save it. Maybe this will draw out the Binding. Oh yeah, Exile, good point. Well, we can just get a Colossus down here. That will almost certainly buy any bindings they have, but we're still stuck on this this Fledgling. Although if they're out of lands, then we get somewhere there. I was really hoping to get a binding out of them before playing a big boy, because yes, we can follow up and disciple away our Colossus, but I'm hoping to actually have a Colossus. I guess we get it back, so that's fine. Let's do it. We have the Beckoning in hand. Thank you for the sub. Also thinking we can send Adept. We need to win somehow, and I'll take any trades they have for this. And can't play around everything. If they do have removal for the Colossus, Lynx and Blade Master can do some blocking still on this board. So, like, worst case would be land removal for Colossus. That would be quite the 1-2 gut punch. But it seems a little... Although maybe I don't need this 3 damage. I'm not going to do it. I feel like... we are, if we're going to win this game, we win a long attrition game where that 3 points doesn't really matter. What we need to do is survive in the meantime. So I'm just going to work on surviving and worry about winning the long game once we get there. Well, there you go. That's the binding I was a little worried about happening there, but we do get something valuable out of it. But what we need is an answer to the Fledgling. We're going to play Disciple and really hope here that Oppo misses on land, because, I mean, if they find a land, we're just straight dead to the Fledgling attack. Can't really do anything about that. So just got to Disciple here and hope that Oppo finds land and I don't just have to shake my head in shame at losing to a 3-color aggro deck. Oppo just going to let the Hellhound go here. Not a big deal for them. And we could Blood Beckon now to have something, but it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is whether we can not die to the Fledgling before we find removal for it. Yeah, we didn't really lose. We just lost to this, right? And we have answers, but that's the way Magic goes. Sometimes your deck has answers, but they stay in the deck somewhere. And you lose to 3-color aggro because of it. I've seen nothing that justifies running black in this deck. Yeah, I guess we were potentially dead on board. Well, we could block 2/1/1. We weren't dead on board. Oh yeah, the warrior could do it. The warrior could eliminate the blocker, though. That's right. Yeah, I think we were just straight dead there. Well, I'd be disappointed if I actually liked my deck, but since I'm not very enamored with the deck, it's like, I guess we got punished for not having a good enough deck. Yeah, maybe they were out of playables. Heck, we were. All right, well, some calls to look at. We can at least look at the red. I question whether we're going to find it any better, but we can look. Not playing that. Not playing that, I don't think. Or we don't want to. We'd play 2 wizards. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there you go. Well, Math says I think we really should consider the transformation plan. What's the value of the transformation plan to you? If we have a clear better deck, we should definitely start with it, right? If we feel like one of the 2 decks is better, we obviously open with that deck. And then to justify switching to the worst deck, what else has to be present to make up for that? So to me, it seems that specifically the matchup of the other deck is good against what you've seen from your opponent, or you feel like you will get them to miss sideboard against you, that you will get them to zig and you're zagging and then you come up with something else. I think both of those are pretty slight. If the decks are almost identical in power level, sure, or if you don't even know, I don't know which deck is better, so I'm going to toss around between them, that's fine. But I don't want to, but I think doing a transformational sideboard without a clear ability to explain why the change is better than sticking with what you decided was your best deck, you need to have a good answer to that before you do it. You don't want to have the answer be because transformational sideboards are cool. And I'm not suggesting Math is saying that. I'm saying that's what anybody needs to be able to say about it. So A-Funk says Tabaraks makes the cleric deck better. This still has 4 clerics for Tabaraks. Eruption and Rebuke. The real pulls here are Royal Eruption and Rebuke, and having more 2-drops. This gives us 1, 2, 3 creatures we would play on 2, whereas white only gives us Blade Master and Link. So we get 1 more 2-drop. That's not nothing. We could also play the Hellhound, but I don't think that's correct. I can't see doing Mardu. I don't... Mardu... Oppo got away with it, but I wouldn't. If I did Mardu, we would draw nothing but swamps. Scion, calling it wasted is a little strong. There is Mind Drain, there is Tabaraks, there is Blight Priest, and your other handful of clerics entering. Oh no, this doesn't actually cause life gain. Never mind. I retract my Blight Priest claims. But it's a 3/3 flyer for 5, and our pool is crappy. So, like, what do you want to do? Let me ask. What do you want to do? What are we playing? Well, Funk, say it with your keyboard. Yeah, Fenor. I'm with you, Fenor. But the fact that I'm even considering a red deck makes it pretty clear that should have just banked hard at the red after we saw it in pack 3 was pretty brutal for us. We had Mardu colors heading into pack 3, opened an early cleric and followed it, and then late red started coming. Really? That was pack 2? Yeah, pack 2, right. Anyway, that was the sequencing. Okay. Here's your chance at red. I don't know. Couple pieces of removal for a lot worse creatures, I'll say that. Well, there's our red. We'll keep this. We have a 2, we have a 3, we have removal, we have removal. It's our 2 best red cards, so that's a start. Ooh, wizard. Ambusher, warrior, electromancer, wizard. So if we want to have the chance of... we really need to go even though wizard hits harder, electromancer produces extra red off of the ambusher, and we can play a 2-drop, 3 electromancer into 2-drop, which is just too valuable not to try for. With Oppo not doing anything here, if they don't have anything to do on 2 and we go Electromancer into Wizard, that's going to be tough for them to come back from, really. Like, it's a great start. I mean, we're still pretty small, so they could get big in time. But, yeah, we're going to Electromancer into Wizard, discarding Swamp. Pretty hot turn 3 board. Yes, there are instant speed landfall cards, in particular the uncommon Harrow adjacent spell. Sack a land, put 2 lands onto the battlefield. The white uncommon openly has the ability to do so. Yeah, Bugcatcher would have been even better there. But this is what I'm talking about with them being in a little bit of trouble here. We can go Song Mad. I think we do. Just play Song Mad as land and erupt the rogue and crash in. Yeah, both of these are sorceries. We're not kicking the royal anytime soon. It can go to face, but we're not in face level. You know, we're on board control here, so we're using both of our removal spells as board control this game. So might as well use the one that does the least amount of damage and still gets the job done, so that if we come up with a 4 toughness creature we need to kill, we can do that with Rebuke. Turns out we want to kill that as well, and it was 3, but that's still, we did that in the right order, and I'm not letting that live for 1 second here, and we can go ahead and pump. Yeah, this hand was a bit perfect for this deck. We got our 2... Literally, the reason we switched to red was the presence of Royal Eruption and Rebuke, and we got them both, and we abused the Electromancer mana, so that went about as well as it could go. Black-white life gain. Looks like something like our deck. In the black-white mode. Yeah, that's about as good as we can hope for out of that deck. I'm wondering if we bring in Mind Drain here, and if so, for what? I already have 1. I think we just run this back, really. There's not much to do here. You know, Sneaking Guide could close it out by getting wizards through whatever. That's awful. I don't know. I think I'd just rather have the Lagak and the Mind Drain than 2 Mind Drains. I'm going to run this back. Lagak is extremely medium, but calling this deck extremely medium is kind of a kindness, so we do what we must. Gonna keep this. We got each of our colors and a 2-drop and some removal. We need some lands to get to Hellion and Highborn, but we can get there. Ambush are not that great, such that if they play anything of value early, we can go ahead and disciple it away for our Ambusher and then have a 3-1. More pausing from Oppo. What would pause for Oppo on an empty board with black and white? Can't be anything that targets. Well, can't even play our Disciple. That's too bad. But if we don't get to do anything on 3 because Oppo hasn't done anything all game, that could be worse. There could be worse, but we didn't have it. There was a pause with an empty board, literally empty board. Can you Subtle Strike? Both sides of Subtle Strike require a target. So yeah, we'll pump here. Nothing else to do. Oh, good point. Well, if Sajiri Shelter is permanence, if Sajiri Shelter can target land, that's probably it. Oh, that's target creature you control. Isn't there one that does Yeah, that's the blue. Right, that's a different one. All right, interesting. We can go... attack with Ambusher, threaten pump, and then decide what we want to do after combat. I mean, if they want to block, that's fine. I'll take a turn off to make the trade. All right. More cards for everybody. Cards for everybody. Ooh, no land though, so making it a little tough for us. Probably need to Fissure Wizard away something we want to get back with our double Blood Beckoning. Maybe Fissure Wizard away the Highborn and then just look for a land and then Disciple. Could also just Vampire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need to play 2 though, or we're going to discard. So yeah, we can do that. Then we discard. I'm going to go land hunting. And we could just ditch a Blood Beckoning or even a Hellion. Maybe we ditch the Hellion for now, although we're about to... I just feel like Highborn is actually just kind of our worst card here. And we can still get it back with both of our Blood Beckonings. Cannot seem to find a land, so I'm going to go ahead and Royal here. It's not amazing, but I'm not going to discard. I think we should be able to attrition this with the double Blood Beckoning if we just trade off here. Go Swarm now just to have a flyer. You want to just edict this away? That's fair. I mean, at most, though, they get a 1 cat token, and we can do some stuff next turn. Well, that's a subtle strike if I ever saw one. Is that... Can you cast Subtle Strike without targets? I'm still wondering what the what that early pause was. That's true. Cat tokens make the edict bad, so that's a really good reason to do it when I have the chance hat. Hat pointing out this can get out of hand, and actually, if it triggers even once, turns our disciple into a pretty easy cat sack. So at this point, though, we can rebuke the Stinger and disciple the healer. Although, looks like we should rebuke the healer so that if they have Subtle Strike, they can't save it. If we rebuke the Stinger and they have Subtle Strike, they could save it. So I'm going to do that. And that's... So I think there was a desire to rebuke the Stinger so we could attack. But you see why I did it that way. If we feel it's a Subtle Strike, I think that was correct. And I can go ahead and just attack with the flyer only here, see if they do anything about it, and then follow with the disciple after. Could also just hold up Alliance, but this is fine. We do this, we sack the wizard, and we have Alliance for next turn. It'll be let's see. Well, I guess we replace... Yeah, we're going to replace wizard with cleric, so this is going to go get one more expensive. Ah, here we go. Was this? Yeah, that wasn't that either. I'm going to hold the Zoff consumption. I think we can do that here. Binding. Well, we're going to ditch, of course, one, well, certainly a Hellion, and then maybe just the Zoff consumption. Just keep our blood beckonings for eternal creature action. So let's go Hellion. And I guess just, we can even do Disciple, because now we can sack Swarm, take out whatever they play, and then get the Swarm back with the other blood beckoning. So we're going to get Disciple. Yeah, Ambusher is fine, but it's just not good enough in the long run. I guess we can pump it, so maybe there is an argument for Ambusher, but I just like the straight value of the Hellion over the pumping value of the Ambusher. Unless they drop another creature, we get a great sequence here. That's kind of exactly what we want. Oh, Dauntless Unity. Let's see. Oh yeah, good call. Thanks. That's about the only thing that makes sense, huh? Thank you, DC. Appreciate that sub. Can't really cast anything else, unfortunately, but we have serious gasoline. I mean, we could cast the Blood Beckoning. We just don't want to. We want to kick that. Playing an attrition game here. We want to continue pressing that, you know, getting all the value we can out of this stuff. Here, just dropping Hellion after combat. Do we have any landfall? We don't really have any landfall, so I'm gonna play land, because Blood Beckoning, we want to be able to cast stuff that we get back if possible. Yeah, landfall Lagak, that's true. We get that one Lagak. It's not like worth holding lands for, though, over supplying mana for post-beckoning. There it is, though. Attrition is the idea of trading off resources. It's winning the long haul exchange of resources, Dionysus. So if we're trading 1 for 1, but every once in a while I'm drawing 2, I'm winning the attrition battle because I am slowly grinding ahead on resources. So the attrition battle is the battle for resource grind. Gonna go ahead and give him the Disciple and send in. I assume they block the Disciple here. Either they just want to prevent the most damage, or they have some sort of saving spell. So I guess that was it. Was that it? No, this is still target. Yeah, I guess it's still, we assume this is the pump spell. Yeah, I don't know. If I were Oppo, I would have used that to kill the Disciple and then chump next time. But we got there. Yeah, math, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I think if Oppo is going to do that, the correct play is kill Disciple, make it indestructible so that it can then chump next turn. Possibly. Yeah. Hey, we did get a win. Hey, if I can crawl away from this with 1,000 gems, you will see a meek fist pump. I might actually, I'm gonna, if I can back out of this, go red white. I don't think we're doing red white. Give me a quick bio break and we'll wrap up this event and see what we have time for after that, okay? Be right back. Hey, gang. I'm going to hold the AMA, but I'll certainly do a meme machine.
You've activated my trap card! It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!
Ooh, thought we might have to send this back, then I saw the Zoff consumption for the save. We'll keep no 2-drop creature, which would be ideal, but we only have 3 of those, so we can't expect that consistently. Still going with the Zoff. We're pretty far off from casting Zoff consumption. Yeah, we might find something we want to rebuke, right? Some good 2-drops could show up. but it's also premium for us. Do we want to use it on that? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't seem worth it, right? We have a turn 4 vampire that ostensibly blocks this, although blue-black suggests rogues, so I'm expecting this will have death touch. But maybe we take out whatever gives it death touch. Although in a rogues deck, it's just going to have death touch, you know. There's not much you can do about it. I don't think these lands are generally worth it, even if you're doing the thing. It's just that they don't help you cast anything else. You still get the 1 mana, so that's not entirely true, but they don't help you with the colored requirements of anything else. We can accept an anti-cog there. That wasn't a mission-critical card for us. Kind of was more so in the white-black version of this deck. Just a vamp here, though. Not going to use the rebuke yet. Need some action, though. Flooding out a little bit. If I'd known we were going to draw this way, I'd have kept the Blood Bog in hand for Zoth consumption, but hard to know we were going to flood out off the top like this. Got a couple of the Fissure Wizards, so we want to keep a mountain in hand, you know, keep land in hand to make sure we have something to pitch to that. It's a lot of the heuristics we use for land management in Magic are put to the test here. It's like there's a lot of different ways to use your land in the format, so it can be hard to know whether to hold or not. This is a good draw, though. Now we get to rebuke the Scion before it gets out of hand and drop our flyer. It's 14 to 20. We could send in the vampire, but I want the vampire to continue to threaten the skulker on the ground, so I'm going to have to let that go. I have to stay back because we're not going to block the Wind Rider Wizard, so we're effectively at 12. I don't know. Maybe it is worth bringing him to 16 to go to 10 instead. Do we care? Especially because if they make this death touch, I'm not blocking anyway. So I may be talking myself into going ahead and going to 10 here. We have Alliance on the untap. It's really the fact that this can become so easily a death touch creature that made me decide to do that attack. If there was no way this could become death touch, I think I would have stayed back. Oppo seems uninterested in attacking with the Skulker anyway. Maybe they're going to make it death touch and they want to block the Vamp now. Maybe that attack has made them feel threatened. Yeah, counters on Tabaraks are nice, but I don't want to... I would rather have the creatures around and then accept that if they die, a nice fallback is that we get the counter. That does mean it can block the wizard and whatnot. This is okay. We can Lagak and play a land. I'm going to send in with both. I'm expecting a flash rogue, and they're going to, quote, get us with the Skulker. But now with a Lagak behind, I don't mind that at all. It is nice having Deadly Alliance. If they do some really weird shenanigans, then we can super get them. Right now, this is still okay in that we'll let the Duelist thing happen. And then actually we can Deadly Alliance the Duelist, potentially, and eat the Skulker. So I think we do get a 2-for-1 out of this. That's cool. I'm going for it. They could have something else, but let's make them, because this is a decent 2-for-1 if they don't have it. Anti-cog is creatures only, though, right? So that wouldn't have hurt. Oh, we maybe mean... Oh, yeah, after combat, we wouldn't be able to because we want to save the land drop. So it looks like we forced another card out of their hand. They're trying to get the trade. They still want the trade for the Vamp, but that's all good. We still get another... we get a counter on the Hope's Demise, and it turns into a 2-for-3 instead of a 2-for-1. We get a 3-for-2 instead. Why did it not kill Wizard? Because the Duelist was making the Skulker have Death Touch, and by killing the Duelist, if they have nothing else, we just eat the Skulker. And so then we trade Alliance for Duelist and Skulker, which felt good enough to me. I'm going to save both lands for Lagak pinging. I think Oppo right now is trying to figure out if they are racing or not. They're winning 12-16 on life, and we both have 3/3 flyers. I don't know what they've got in hand. We've only got the Lagak, but it actually does swing the race in our favor if they've not got something better, because this is going to do 4 a turn once it starts attacking between the land and the attack. The Citadel Swamp. There's a swamp down in here. You know, Citadel's right next to a swamp. Swamps are just generally more prevalent in these worlds than they are in mine. I don't know. Earth doesn't have as many swamps as all these magic planes do. Thank you for that raid. Welcome, raiders. Hello, good game. So Oppo's going for the race here. And being able to follow with the rogue makes that understandable. We got lucky here. We're going to be able to Lagak and then Disciple. We'll take either one of these on the sack, but I think we want to go Lagak land first, and then we Disciple them next turn. Yeah, Fenner, we could have double spelled. I told you, again, you're kind of proving my point that there's a lot of different pulls on the land. The land does so much work in this set, it can be hard to know whether to hold it, play it, save it to loot, save it to, you know, it's hard. But another thing we could do here is Disciple now, and then turn this into a 4/4. Nine, we go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I like Lagak land. And I'm gonna go for the race here. Oh, that's a good point. 6 in the yard. We got to be careful of this turning into a massive thing. But we've done what we've done. I'm not going to not attack here. I've made my plan, and I'm going to stick with it. Yes, we could stick back and try to double block the rogue. I'm going for the race here. I think we can win a race with the Disciple helping us out. Depends on what they drew here, of course. I like that the Disciple is going to put another counter on Tabarax, so if we need to, we can hold Tabarax back on D. And go ahead and ping. 6 for the Colossus means we can't double spell these, but I also can't, we need to get rid of we need to make him choose here. Yeah, I think the card draw is worth the life because we're using this to take care of their flyer now. Well, we don't have to, but I think we want to. It puts us in a spot where if they do remove Tabaraks, we lose to the wizard, but I think we should be playing card advantage here. So lots of gambling stuff here. Hey, we can knock that out of their hand, and that's not the worst. It makes them really have to top deck and gains us a life. So gets it back. Let's do that. See what they got up there. Ooh, nice. And look, base camp. If base camp were an island, they probably would have won this game already. Somewhere they could have stolen something, right? Now, do we go for it? Because we can send 7, knock them down to 3, and then they need a something on top. So I think we just send all. Yeah, could have stolen Tabaraks, right? Right? Yeah, I say make them top deck us. Because this makes the Lagak lethal. Come on. We're not out of the woods yet, but I think that was the right line. Interesting. What does this do? That's actually good for them-ish. We get to drop Colossus and stay back on D. Great draw, though. Because now, I mean, we could send Tabaraks, but then they could just block with the chump with the wizard and then crack back for the win this way. So we gotta play Colossus, play land, and hold. Colossus can attack next turn. Obviously, Lagak has no attacks. The Falconer just blocks it, but Colossus is must block next turn. Yeah, I guess we could have done that, but what I don't know if growing that helps. And it looks like we got there. Okay, we got to start towards getting 1,000 gems off this train wreck. Well, Dionysus, think about what you're saying. You're acting as though Wizards has the power to turn knobs so deliberately and finely that they say, you know what, for Zendikar, we're going to turn the fun knob to fun. And we're going to turn the knob to tense, because we think this set should be tense, so we're going to turn it to tense. If they could do that, D, they would do it on literally every set. Yeah, they finally installed the fun knob. I don't know. Feels like the fun knob's been working for Magic Limited for quite a while now. Thank you for the sub, Adam. Appreciate that. I'm going to send it back here. All right, let's just get a win and crawl away from this wreckage. Woof. We're going to crawl away from this wreckage, that's for sure. Hey, not great, but I don't know how we throw this back and try to win off 5. I think we just keep and cross fingers here. And I think we even throw the mountain back. We're just you need to find some swamps here to eventually have a chance. So I like... you could drop the beckoning, but being greedy about things like beckoning after mulliganing is one of the ways that I feel like you recover from a mulligan. So I'm going to be greedy, and we're going to pitch a mountain. We're not going to win if we don't find a swamp anyway, so I'm going to count on finding a swamp. Here go the swamps. Oh, I thought that milled. Oh, it didn't target anything, so we didn't mill. Got it. I thought the mill just happened no matter what. But without a target, it doesn't. Interesting. Well, I think you should think of Duelist as more combat trick than 1-1, but if you're super aggro rogues, it could make sense to do that. Found our swamp, great. I'm not going to rebuke the Duelist, though. My worry here is, in fact, maybe I'll advance to my second main. Okay, looked like it snapped past. I was worried about the uncommon flash rogue, but of course, if they have that, I want to save the rebuke for it anyway, so we're just going to take it anyway. That's a little more killable, but we don't even need to worry about that quite yet. I like Tabarax here. If Tabarax survives as a demon cleric and we resolve Electromancer the turn after, we can go Tabarax, Electromancer into Rebuke, or even if we draw a 3-drop, we could potentially play a 3-drop. Always interesting to see if Oppo attacks with Duelist in a spot like this. Most people don't have the cojones, the gumption, the courage, the risk management to send a Duelist in as a bluff here, but it would be a good one. I'm never blocking the Duelist if it attacks. Fissure Wizard gives us some stuff to do. What do we want to do? I think I like Electromancer, Fissure Wizard, maybe even pitching Swamp. Is that daring? We can also, yeah, we can also just drop the Lagak and see about doing other stuff next turn. Pitch Lagak, you think? I like maybe just play Lagak. Maybe I'm overthinking. I think I like Math's line. Yeah, 2 Duders sounds good, but big 3/4. Play it and then have all this stuff going on next turn also, and we can see what we draw, maybe find something else to pitch. So I'm on the Lagak plan now. I like that. This blocks everything. Also, this is the kind of creature that I am willing to throw in the way of tricks and whatever. It's like you want to use your resources in hand to get rid of our Lagak. That seems a lot better than Tabarax. Clear Rebuke target now, although we even have Song Mad Treachery if we wanted to steal it first at some point. But I think we just here go Electromancer, Rebuke. Good time zone to you, Emir. Welcome. 3 manas, but yeah, we're just going to rebuke the flyer. At 4 toughness, they don't have the power to even kill it, so we get to attack with the Lagak. That's one of the reasons I like playing it. It actually has attacks on the board as it was. And we had the rebuke to keep the board as it was. I'm going to save the treachery, though. Could be a game-winning play for us. And if Oppo's going to be spending their turn making their Stalker unblockable, then we can pump it, because that is just great. Like, and here we get to play... Actually, could even go Fissure Wizard into and pitch the Mountain and still find eventually a basic for the Song Mad. Can we win here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't just win 9, 10. So yeah, I am going to ditch the Mountain here. We'll get our land eventually and win with this as a final spell, but I do like being greedy.
point is, ladies
And look at that.
that greed is good.
And I think we just actually kill the duelist and get in some extra damage here. Minus this and make our flyer bigger. Yeah, I can adjust that one maybe. It's just... Maybe I'm supposed to put the counter elsewhere because this is already a valuable creature, but Tabarax does have a counter clause. It's just we're unlikely to get there. No shame in blowing up and giving me my 1,000 gems for this medium at best deck. Wow, that was a powerful effect when you do all of them at once. Jeepers. Still looking okay, though. And these are both forced blocks, so it's chump trade. Oh yeah, sorry, I should have sent the wizard too. My bad. You can punt that. That was a simple attack. I just got distracted and missed it. Definitely need to attack with those. Those are the little mistakes I make a lot of that your top pros don't. When I look at where I can fix my game. Although streaming is a part of that too. There's a good chance if I'm not streaming, I find the wizard attack there. And we're giving him an opening here. Maybe I've bought you extra magic with that punt. I like it now. Now that we haven't won the game, you all are coming out with the punts. That's funny. It's not a punt until it costs us. I like D's approach better in that it's consistent. He's consistent. It's always a punt. Doesn't matter. Well, now we're gonna wait. We still have our we used our Thundering Rebuke, but we still have our face damage in the deck. I'm gonna keep the mountain. I think we have one more Fissure Wizard. At this point, we're kind of just trying to hold off against the Falconer and find our own action. We got so much action. There we go. How about that? So many ways to save myself from that punt, and we found one. Oh yeah, I should have played the land. That would have been a great follow-up punt, right? Get force spiked. Very loose, but we got there for the 1,000. Well, playing a land wouldn't have helped with anti-cog, but playing a land would have helped with the force spike. And even got a little mythic. We'll take it. We'll take it. Well, limped across the line there, but we did crawl away with the 1,000. And as I said, that's all I could hope for with that draft result. But goes to show you, draft a little bit of a pile. Don't panic. Chances are you found some cards in your draft that were good. You know, you have some kind of possible curve. You never know how it's going to play out. Maybe your 10 worst cards go to the bottom of your deck every single game, and it seems like you've got an incredible deck because you just draw the best part of it. You never know. Got to play it out and do the best you can. We did, and got 2 wins. I will take it. I will take it. Math thinks we could have gone 3-0 if we were a black-red from the start, but, you know, winky. Of course, if we had won the first match, we faced completely different opponents in the other 2, so we have no idea. But generally, if you have an ability to color swap in a format like this and you're not playing green, you probably had a rough draft that didn't quite find its lane in time. I just failed to pivot. I think if we had pivoted in too hard into the red, because I even ended up kind of like that royal we had was just like a shrug. I guess I'll take this over the white-black card that's in here. And we ended up playing it. If I had taken every red card from then, I think we actually would have had a pretty decent red-black deck. So there you go. And that's going to be it for YouTube, at least. Thank you, YouTube friends. We'll catch you next time. Appreciate you hanging out for that one. Bye.